Imagine it's the 1920s in Colorado, and you're a black person, looking for a nice, relaxing vacation. Good luck. The welcoming signs at most resorts probably read something like, "All are welcome, unless you're not white." It was an era when the Ku Klux Klan wasn't just a fringe group of losers in bad costumes. They were practically running the state, deeply embedded in politics and law enforcement. So, the simple act of trying to enjoy the great outdoors was, to put it mildly, a hassle. It seems some people thought that fresh mountain air was a whites-only commodity. But in 1922, two African-American businessmen from Denver, E.C. Regnier and Roger Ewalt, had a truly radical idea. Instead of begging for a seat at a table that didn't want them, they decided to build their own. They founded the Lincoln Hills Development Company and purchased over 100 acres of pristine land in Gilpin County, just 38 miles west of Denver. Their vision was shocking in its simplicity. Create a resort where black Americans could vacation without being harassed, barred, or subjected to the casual soul-crushing hostility of segregation. It was a revolutionary concept, apparently that black people might also enjoy hiking and fishing. This wasn't just some half-baked plan, it was a masterclass in defiance. Lincoln Hills became a sanctuary, a literal safe haven from the pervasive racism of the time. While Jim Crow laws and the Klan's influence made daily life a tightrope walk of anxiety and danger, this mountain enclave offered a place to exhale. It was the only black-owned resort west of the Mississippi, a fact that drew families from all over the country. People traveled from as far as Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, all seeking a place where they could simply be themselves, where their children could play freely without the shadow of prejudice looming over them. For a few precious weeks each summer, Lincoln Hills was an alternate reality where joy wasn't a privilege but a right. And what about the cost of entry to this paradise? Surely, it was prohibitively expensive, right? Not at all. Regnier and Ewalt weren't trying to get rich. They were trying to build a community. Black families could purchase their own slice of heaven, a plot of land, for as little as $50, which is just over $800 in today's money. Some built quaint, cozy cabins that still dot the landscape, while others simply pitched tents and camped under the stars. The goal wasn't luxury, it was access. Access to the simple pleasures that white Americans took for granted: hiking through pine-scented forests, fishing for trout in the clear waters of South Boulder Creek, and breathing in the crisp mountain air without a care in the world. It was a place for black families to build memories, not just escape threats. But Lincoln Hills was so much more than just a place to escape. It quickly evolved into a vibrant cultural and intellectual hub, a Harlem of the Rockies. During the Harlem Renaissance and for decades after, it hosted some of the brightest minds and most talented artists of the era. Thinkers, writers, musicians, and civil rights leaders found their way to these hills. It was a place where conversations about freedom and equality could happen openly, nurtured by the very landscape that symbolized a different kind of freedom. Imagine the discussions that took place around a campfire, the ideas sparked by the side of a rushing creek. This resort wasn't just about leisure, it was about the cultivation of a resilient and brilliant culture, far from the stifling gaze of a society that sought to diminish it. So, when you look at the legacy of Lincoln Hills, don't just see a quaint, historical vacation spot. That would be like calling the Underground Railroad a travel network. Lincoln Hills was an act of audacious self-determination. It was a blueprint for black autonomy, a declaration that if you won't let us in, we will build something better for ourselves. It was a living, breathing testament to the idea that community and joy are powerful forms of resistance. It was a middle finger to the entire system of segregation, built with wood, stone, and sheer force of will. Today, that spirit of defiance and community lives on. Lincoln Hills Cares, a modern nonprofit, has taken up the mantle, ensuring this historic place isn't just a relic of the past. The organization continues the legacy by providing outdoor education, cultural programs, and leadership training for young people, often from underserved communities. They're teaching a new generation about environmental stewardship and the history of this remarkable place, proving that the fight for space, for joy, and for a better future is a relay race, not a sprint. The vision of Regnier and Ewalt is still alive. Sometimes, the boldest move you can make is to stake your claim on your own piece of the mountain. If this is your first time hearing about Lincoln Hills, drop first time in the comments.